Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I would like to welcome you to this brand new series of a brand new game. This is Civilization 6, and oh my gosh, I have been waiting for this for quite a while. This is the very first game I'm doing. I was not in the pre-release versions of the game, so I am kind of going into this somewhat blind, but I've been watching basically every single video that has been released about this game. So hopefully I won't make a complete arse of myself in this first playthrough. Plus, I have played an awful lot of every other Civilization game, going back all the way actually to Civilization 1, so it should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to this. Of course, the first thing to do when you jump in is pick who we are going to play as. Now, there are a good number of nations in this, and making a return for the first time since Civ 3, I want to say, there are actually multiple leaders per civilization. No, Civ 4. Civ 4 had that. So we have Catherine Medici of France here, Cleopatra of Egypt, Frederick Barbarossa of Germany, Gandhi of India, Gilgamesh of Sumeria, Gorgo of Greece, Harald Hardrada of Norway, Hojo Tokimune of Japan, Mbeva Nzinga of Congo, Pedro II of Brazil, Pericles of Greece, Peter of Russia, Philip II of Spain, Qi Shi Huang of China, Saladin of Arabia, Teddy Roosevelt of the United States, or America, Tomiris of Scythia, Trajan of Rome, and Victoria of England. Now, it's a pretty good roster of nations, many different playstyles, and actually one of the things that I really like about Civ 6 is every nation has a lot of work done on it to make them feel different and to make them function differently. And I really appreciate that. Like, for example, playing as Venice in Civ 5, it was a completely different game compared to playing as anyone else. And they've really kind of taken the lessons from that to heart and done a very similar thing here. So playing as Catherine de' Medici will be a very different game than if you were playing as Gorgo, or if you're playing, I don't know, Philip II compared to Tomiris. Again, very different game. And that is brilliant. I really like that. And the designers have taken some risks in trying to make this work. And from what I've seen so far, it is fantastic. So, big question, who are we going to play as? Now, each of these factions, as you have seen here in the pop-up thing, has various different details and items. Now, I probably will actually do a separate video in the next week or so where we go over the different nations, who you can play as, and also I'll probably try and break them up into what kind of play style they suit. So, for example, who are the conquest guys, who are the expansionist guys, who are the diplomatic ones, who are the cultural or trade, etc. That is not what I'm going to do today. I just want to kind of jump into the game and get going because, oh my gosh, I'm excited. So, one of the different new guy, I'm not sure he's actually been in the game before, is Gilgamesh of Sumeria. He gets the epic quests. When you capture a barbarian outpost, receive a tribal village reward in addition to the usual gold. Pay half the cost to levy city-state units. So the barbarian outpost thing, it's alright, it's not fantastic. It basically just means that you need to be a little more aggressive in the early game of pumping out units. You get the Adventures of Enkidu, where you may declare war on anyone at war with their allies without warmonger penalties. So if I have allies, I can declare war on people that my allies are fighting without any penalty. When at war with a common foe, they and their allies, it should really say you and your allies, or Sumeria and their allies, share pillage rewards and share combat experience gains if within 5 tiles. Now this is really interesting. Sumeria is probably the first truly diplomatic nation that I've ever seen in any of the Civilization games. Basically what this means is that if you're in a war together with an ally, or 3 or 5, then any kills that they get, they earn experience from, but you also earn experience from. And any kills that you get, you earn experience from, and they also get experience. So you want to be in wars probably with 2 or 3 allies on your side and kind of fighting together against a common foe. And your armies will build up in strength quite a lot more quickly as a result. And that's kind of cool. Like, you can really play a Kingmaker. You fight against one faction, you do a lot of damage to them, you switch sides, you fight for them, bring them back up to strength, and you basically choose who the real power mongers are in the world. Until eventually, of course, you tire of these petty squabbles and take the world for yourself. The Sumerian unique unit is the War Cart. It is stronger than all other starting units, no penalties against anti-cavalry, and it moves 4 units if you start in open terrain. I believe this actually replaces the warrior. So it's you start with a cavalry unit that replaces warriors, basically. And the unique building is the ziggurat, which is unique to Sumeria. It provides extra science and extra culture if next to a river and cannot be built on hills. Unlocks a builder ability. Okay, so it's an improvement. Interesting. Anyway, we are going to go as Gilgamesh. We're going to bump up the difficulty to King because the Let's Plays I've seen with Prince have been stupidly easy. So we're going to go with King. It'll probably still be relatively easy, but I want to learn the game. We're going to go with standard game speed because I don't really know if it feels too fast or too slow or anything like that. Continent, yeah, that's fairly standard, and then map size. We'll go with small for the first one, just so we can get an idea of the game, and then after that we'll pick some other civilizations and do something a bit grander.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water, to the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your greatest quest, from this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. Much rests upon your shoulders, King Gilgamesh. Your own people, and many people of the world, look to you as a leader. But you are more than a mere man, and the weight of the world will never cause you to waver. Encourage the people of Sumer to settle the fertile lands along rivers, and be sure to choose your allies carefully, for there will be many vying for a piece of your strength. Venture forth, for it is time to begin your epic tale.
And there we go. So Sean Bean is of course the one narrating all of this, and it sounds rather marvellous. I have tried to keep the narration voices higher in terms of audio balance for this, so I hope it's you can hear it. Let me know in the comments.
Greetings, my liege. As your personal advisor, I am qualified to assist you in all matters related to ruling our civilization.
So actually I'm going to bump that up slightly more, I think. Thankfully this does have some pretty decent audio stuff, so you can see speech is all the way to the top. I'm going to bump up the master just a little bit. Sound effects might get a bit loud, but we can continue to tweak them as we play. So here is our settler, here is our... Oh, we do start with warriors. So they don't replace warriors, they're just another early unit that are very, very strong. Alright, and we are currently researching, as you can see, there are two types of technology. We have regular technologies up here, and then civic technologies. This basically takes the place of the policy trees in Civ 5. I'll explain that in a minute. So right now the world is this. We can't see very much of it. There's loads of terra incognita around us. And I really like the visual style that they have here. It's basically an old-time map. It even has a few dragons and giant fish and stuff like that on it. It's rather sweet. And you can see the tattered edges, and yeah, it's cool. So we have some wheat. We've got a nice river. We're adjacent to some mountains for fresh water, and river as well for that. That is important because you need water to have a large city. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to send the warrior off onto this hill to start looking around. And then our settler... You know what? I think this is an okay spot. We've got some gypsum next to us. We've got 1, 2, 3... That wheat is just out of range. That one is in range, as is that one. Just. So yeah, this looks like a pretty decent spot. So let's build that here. Oh, B apparently didn't work. B's always worked. That's always been Found City, hasn't it? Sure. Anyway, our city is currently Urk. We'll leave it as Urk right now. You know what? If you would like a city named after you, please do let me know in the comments below. I think that's the best way of doing it with this particular game. So, will your name stand the test of time? Find out and watch the series. There you go. So, Uruk. Uruk is cool. If we click on Uruk, then we can see a bit more about it. No? Yes? Maybe? Let's sort out the production. So, currently we can build a monument. We can get a builder, scout, warrior, slinger, and oh, there's the war cart. It takes 8 turns as opposed to the warrior's 6. It has a combat strength of 30. The warrior is of 20, so it's actually quite significantly stronger. And a base movement of 3, but that's actually 4 if you start in open terrain like those plains over there. I'm going to start with the monument. The monument is usually my opener. The monument increases the amount of culture that you produce, which increases the speed that your borders expand, and therefore allowing your citizens to harvest better resources further away. And also, as I said earlier, culture is now a technology of its own. So if we open up the Civics tree, you can see that this has an entire tree that you have to go through. these shields here, these are basically cards that you can slot into your government. So you can fully customize your government with a few restrictions, which I'll explain momentarily. So we've got military ones, which are the red. You've got economic, which are yellow. You have got great person cards. Is that what they're actually called? Okay, great person cards, which are the purple, and then you also have wild cards, which are green. No, green's diplomatic. I think purple is actually the wild card. So wild, basically you can put anything in a wild card slot, and only great people can go in wild card slots. That's the way it works. So here with Code of War Laws, we get the options of discipline, which is +5 combat strength and fighting barbarians. Survey, double experience for recon units. And then in the economic, it's basically a choice between faith, which is God King, which is +1 faith, +1 gold in the capital, or urban planning, which is +1 production in all cities. Okay, well, we have to take Code of Laws because it is the first civic that is available. And then in the research tree, it's much the same thing, but rather grander in scale. Now, the developers have said that the civic tree is there to kind of offset the tech tree. So generally, if you have a nation which is really good in technology, they'll be quite poor in culture, and vice versa. And the cultural techs are there to kind of offset the military advantage that you would get through having more advanced units. So it should be able to balance itself out in that kind of way. So we have pottery here with housing and food. I don't think we'll need that quite yet. Camps and pastures, quarries, mining. Well, as we're going to be quite a militaristic nation, I'm kind of thinking that maybe we should go for something like bronze working or masonry. So cities in this game do not start with walls. You have to build ancient walls, and once you have walls, your cities can actually shoot. Like in Civ 5, your cities can shoot at enemies and from the beginning, and it's no real problem. They're actually cities are hard to take. Well, no, in this, cities cannot for themselves defend themselves until you build walls or some description. So I think we'll probably go for bronze working first. That will require mining. So we'll work on that. Okay. And then government. Where can I see that? In here? Nope. Like I said, I'm new to this part. One of these? Nope. Nope. Oh, tribal village, that's useful. Tech tree, civics tree, great people. Great people, okay, I'll talk about this now. So great people are specialists of various categories, so generals, admirals, engineers, merchants, prophets, scientists and writers, and over here we've actually got musicians as well. They can perform cool things that generally increase your civilization in their particular area of expertise. So great engineers will generally build stuff really quickly. Merchants will generally generate you tons of money, etc. In Civ 5 they were all generic. They all did exactly the same thing. In Civ 6 they actually have different abilities. So for example, this guy adds 215 production towards a wonder. The next great engineer might do something different, like he might, I don't know, provide 2 free military units or something like that. I don't know. Like this guy provides a trade route. Trade routes are pretty powerful, so that would be quite nice to have. And for that you would need to get great merchant points, which are these ones down here. Oh no, that's faith. So just great merchant points, which are these points here. Then you can either top it off or buy it outright with faith, which is the 750, or gold, which is the 1100. So faith is a resource which is quite a lot more useful throughout more of the game in this, rather than just basically being spent on religious buildings, which is roughly the only thing I ever seem to spend it on in that. Now religion is a whole game of its own. I have really gone to town with religious mechanics, but I'm going to leave that for a time when we've actually got religions and I can have it in front of me to talk about. Now, where the hell are the governments? Or am I just not able to see government yet because I haven't actually researched it? That's possible. So the tribal village is up here, so we'll send the warrior over to that. Alright, let's just get moving. Less docking, more moving. So what are the goals in this? Basically, we are going to be playing the Kingmaker. Ooh, nice. So we got an inspiration. What are inspirations? Inspirations are where you can purposefully move towards technology to make its research quicker, or in this case a civic. So we've got progress towards early empire. So if we click on here, open civics tree, let's go look up early empire. Early empire is right here. So it says here, grow your civilization to at least 6 population. That would grant us that inspiration. As you'll see, this bar is half completed. That means we have got half of that technology for free. Completely nothing, nada, zilch, free, which is awesome. So if you're planning to go along a certain direction, you usually want to start working on the boost, which will give you the inspiration, which means it takes half the time to research. So for example, if we wanted foreign trade, then we probably want to get ships of some kind and find a second continent, although continents in this do work slightly differently. I'll talk about that in a minute. Or if you want craftsmanship, improve 3 tiles, so you probably want to build a worker as a fairly high priority. Clear a barbarian outpost. This is one that we're very likely to get, so we may well want to go towards military tradition. Because remember, as part of our bonus, as playing Sumeria, barbarian outposts provide stuff like that tribal village that we just found, what used to be known as a ruin. And then in technology, you also have the inspiration boost, so these 3 don't. But for example, found a city on the coast, and you get halfway to sailing, kill a unit with a slinger, and that progresses you towards archery, because obviously you've shown an interest in something related to that topic. Okay, cool. Onwards. Now, one other thing you will notice from here is how movement works. In Civ 5, barbarians, you could move any tile so long as you had movement left. In Civ 6, you can only move to a tile if you have the movement to actually move there. So previously, this forest with hill, you'd probably be able to move here and then here in Civ 6, in Civ 5. In this, you can't. Now, barbarians, that's these red guys. This guy over here is important. He is a scout. If a barbarian scout finds a city, he will run back home, and then their spawn will start churning out troops and invading your city. That is how the barbarians work in this. So it really is in your interest to kill these scouts, if at all possible. So we're going to run over here.
Our city-state neighbors have made a request of us. If we can impress them, I think they will reward us handsomely.
So this scout clearly has found Jerusalem over here. Jerusalem, or maybe this warrior, has hit the scout, hence he's wounded. But this scout is probably on his way back to the camp, and then the camp will start producing units to attack Jerusalem. At least that is what I'm inferring. So we may well want to build a second warrior right now, because we've just been discovered, which is really bad. So I think I'm going to move my warriors back over in that direction to now defend us against the inevitable attack. So if we see the direction that this scout runs off in, that is a pretty good indication of where their camp will be. So their camp is probably over there somewhere. Yeah, thought so. So we're going to make a run for it back home. What resources are that? Cattle. Animal husbandry. So we have three more turns until the monument is done, and then we'll probably switch to more military. Not the best ever start. I wasn't quite expecting barbarians to show up just yet, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, we're planning to be quite a militaristic civilization anyway, so it's not the end of the world that we have a military.
When you find yourself in a hole, quit digging.
Some of these quotes really are excellent. So we've got mining, which allows us to build mines and quarries now. If we go back onto the choose research tree, we now have some more options. Of which we could go for one of these, although it does take rather a long time. Build a quarry, kill 3 barbarians. So we should probably wait until we have the inspiration for this. So we need to kill 3 barbarians, and then we can probably go for bronze working rather more quickly. So instead I think I'm going to go for animal husbandry, because we've seen quite a few animals. Plus I would rather like to have archery as well. Archery gives you ranged units. In this you still have more or less the rule where it's 1 unit per hex. I say more or less because you can actually increase the size of your unit. So here this is a regular warrior unit. You can then also get corps and armies. Corps is basically where you add 2 units together. You get less strength than if you had 2 separate units, but it's still stronger than a regular soldier that you're fighting against. And also you can get support units, which will give that unit special abilities if you merge a soldier unit with a support unit. So for example, if you have a medic or something like that, then that unit will be able to heal outside of friendly territory, that type of thing. And then armies are when you merge 3 units together rather than just 2. So we know that the warrior went off this way, so we're going to run over there. We have our monument, you can see it right there. Hello, monument. So we're going to build something else, probably a war cart, because I want to see them. They're our unique unit. The other thing that I should point out is cities in this do actually work rather differently. Why can't I click on this? This is really unnerving. I guess it's because it's already selected. Ah, that's what it is. See, I'm used to kind of zooming in and saying, this is your city, you are now in city mode. But cities don't really have a zoomed in city mode anymore, and the reason for that is you actually build stuff in the area around. Now, the monument is actually a city centre building, which is why it appears there. But you get things called districts, and a district is something like the encampment that we saw in bronze working, that's this thing, or the campus with writing. This is basically you saying, I want to dedicate a portion of my production to science. You would then build a campus, like usually they're better next to mountains, so probably over here, and then you would get extra science from each adjacent mountain, and then if you have any other districts adjacent to it, you'd get further bonuses. So we might put a campus here and then a encampment here. The encampment can also shoot, like the city can if it has walls, I think. Pretty sure. And also when you build units, they appear in the encampment rather than back here, and then if you build barracks and things like that, they would appear in the encampment. So you need the districts before you can build those units. And you can't actually build every district everywhere. So it becomes more of a strategic choice of precisely what you build where. So Uruk here, lots of mountains. This is probably going to be a fairly large population city because it has a nice river and it's fairly flat, except for the mountains. And B, research, because research tends to like being near mountains. Cool. And in this game, a lot of things work on the rule of 1, 2, 3. I'm going to try and remember exactly what those 3 are. Number 1, you need a 1-to-1 housing to population. If you have 1 house, you can have 1 population. If you have 3 houses, you can have 3 population. That's 1-to-1. 2-to-1. Each person, each 1 luxury is good enough for 2 people. So if we have 1 luxury, say for example, gypsum. Yeah, gypsum is in fact a luxury. 1 gypsum will keep 2 people happy. And then when we get incense, then that would be 4 people happy because gypsum and incense. Then the 3 rule is for every 3 population in a city, you can build 1 district. Unless you're Germany, in which case you can build 1 extra. So Germany can have lots of big district, Germany can have, oh, another scout? Are you kidding me? So Germany can get additional districts so they can get a lot more production and stuff going on in their cities. They can be more productive. I can't believe we've seen 2 scouts already, and that means we're going to be attacked from down here and over here. And this is nice and flat, thankfully, so our war carts will actually do pretty well over on this side. And see, he immediately turns around
Enacting
and
new
runs off.
policies in our government can be of great benefit. Our people await your decree.
I would love to do that. How? Policies of concrete impacts on... Yes, slotting, yes.
It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law.
Right, so I think it's because I didn't... Yeah, we've got more icons up here now. So we can change policies. You can do this every time that you get new policies available. Boom. And you get this screen. So currently we are a chiefdom, which allows us 1 military policy and 1 economic policy. Now, as we get different types of government available, and there are usually 3 per era, they will have different specialities. So, for example, a monarchy will tend to have more military and less economic, while a merchant republic would have more economic and less military, plus some diplomatic, plus some wildcards. Then if you're playing as Greece, you get extra wildcard slots. That's their bonus. Meanwhile, I think we're going to go and add more combat fighting barbarians, because that is something that is clearly going to happen quite a lot. And I think we're going to need the extra production so we can actually get the military power out to fight them, because we're basically going to be fighting at least 3 different barbarian camps. And we want to be the ones to destroy those barbarian camps, because we are Sumeria, and we get bonuses when we do that. Okay, civics tree. I think we are going to go towards... Yeah, I think we're going to go towards craftsmanship so we can eventually get military tradition. So we can get this bonus towards heavy and light cavalry. Yeah, it's less useful. Wonders, can't really see us being a wonder production machine. Ooh, cheaper settlers, however, is tempting. naval units. And +2 gold from all trade routes. That one's actually quite nice. Joint war. So in this game, much like Europa Universalis, they have got casus belli. Joint war being the first one. So we can basically say, hey, ally person, let's both of us go and declare war on that guy. I'm Sumeria. This is a good thing for me to do. I want allies to fight to join me in wars against other people, because that's when my bonus kicks in. Everything that they kill, I get experience from, and vice versa. So, I think I am going to go for foreign trade, just because it kind of gels better. And I'm fairly sure that I can get the improved 3 tiles and the clear up barbarian outpost relatively soon. So I don't really want to waste much time in getting to that. And it's going to take me a little bit of time to get a worker out. So we're going to leave you there for the moment and just skip turn. Let's put you up on here. There we go. So we have an enemy spearman, enemy warrior, and enemy slinger. So that enemy scout has clearly got back to this town and spawned these troops in. So right now we are quite horribly outnumbered. However, it's 3 turns until our war cart is produced. We are probably going to get hit. Oh man, they have a lot of men here. This is really a dangerous spot to stay. However, we could do a lot of damage if we went and attacked that slinger. We would be flanked by the spearman and this guy, and actually, no, we'd be in the mountain. No, we'd still be back here. This warrior can't hit us. These two, however, can. And spearmen are quite a lot stronger. However, and this is interesting. So most strategy games have a rock, paper, scissors. Cavalry are good against archers, archers are good against infantry, infantry good against spearmen, spearmen are good against cavalry, etc. So this spearman here is good against cavalry. However, because this guy is technically a swordsman or an infantryman, we get a bonus. So over in the bottom right, you will see spearman, 25 base strength, +6 fortified defense. He's sitting in that little palisade, he's fortified. My warrior, 20 base strength, +5 advantage versus barbarians. That's my government policy. And +10 combat versus anti-cavalry units. That's because he's melee and he's a spearman. There is no such bonus against this guy. So it's 31-35 or 23-25. He is currently fighting in ideal terrain. Ideal terrain, I think, just means defensive terrain because he's in the hills. So we're going to... No, we should have... Oh, idiot, Mordred. I was going to attack the slinger. That was a mistake. Should not have done that. Because now you're going to beat on me, you're going to beat on me, and he's probably going to die. Good start. Good start. And you're going to block me in. Yeah, see, slingers are ranged. That means I can't hit them back. But they are vulnerable, which is why I meant to hit them first. Taken less damage than I had expected, but we are still taking rather a lot. What does that mean? Not sure. But we're going to move back here where we are out of range. I think that slinger has a range of 2, or is it only 1? Range of 2. No, that's movement of 2. He has a range of 1. Oh, okay, slingers can only actually hit adjacent stuff. It just means that I can't hit him back. So yeah, we're going to hide over here and hopefully fortify. Maybe the spearman will attack us, maybe it won't. I don't know. We're going to charge over here with the war chariots, though. This war chariot, again, because it's my special, does not get a penalty against spearmen. I think we're going to basically be forced to build another one. And now production is only going to take 5 turns rather than 7. That, I think, is going to do for the very first episode. Thank you very much for joining me. If you are enjoying this series, then please do hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, then please do also consider subscribing. It really does help this channel out. We are fairly new, and we are still very much growing, and any support that you can show us is really, really gratefully appreciated, and it will help us out in the search engine optimization stuff. I know it's all magic. But basically, it will introduce new people to this channel and help the community grow, which is awesome. If you have any tips or advice for me, or stuff that you want me to explain or show off or see or whatever, then please do let me know in the comments as well. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time. Goodbye.